everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Woolly Wonderland podcast. If this is your first time checking it out, thank you so much for coming, and if you're coming back after episode 1 and 2, thanks so much for coming back. So this is a podcast mostly about knitting, but also about sewing and general craftiness. I'm coming to you from New York City, where it is extremely hot outside lately. Even this shirt is just way too hot. I can't go outside right now. So it's a little humid and I'm looking forward to fall. If you want to check me out other than YouTube, I have a Ravelry group now for the podcast. If you just do a Ravelry search of Woolly Wonderland, it'll come up, and I'll also put a link in the down bar. I am craftychristyn on Ravelry, which I will spell for you below because my name is spelled a little differently than Kristen is usually spelled. And I'm also can be found on Instagram as Woolly Wonderland. So yeah, check it out there, and that's where I do the most posts and updates, and you'll sort of be the first to hear about a new episode coming up. So super excited about how everything's going. I'm having a lot of fun doing this podcast, and I'm only doing it every couple of weeks, but I feel like it's something that I really look forward to, just like sitting down and talking about knitting and sewing and everything with you guys. So that's really cool. So yeah, like I was saying, really looking forward to fall because the summer is just oppressive at this point, and I also just love cooler weather. I am really looking forward to Rhinebeck and let's be honest, I've been dreaming about Rhinebeck all year. But I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my first knit along after Rhinebeck. So I'm going to pick up some goodies that are like Rhinebeck specific. And so if you can't go to Rhinebeck, or you're not in the area, or if you are and you just like Rhinebeck stuff, you'd have the opportunity to win a few little surprises. So that'll be fun. Quick note about the podcast, just some podcast news. So 2 weeks from now, which is when the next episode generally come out, I'm going to be in Montreal, which is great. But I may not be able to get it on time. But once I come back, I will have some cool vlog footage from Montreal. I've never been there, and I've never been to Canada actually at all before. So I'm definitely going to hit up the yarn shops. If anybody has recommendations for yarn or fabric stores in the area, please let me know. I may reach out to some Canadian knitting podcasters to see what they have to say too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to enhancing the stash while I'm there. The other piece of business is that I apologize if the audio and video quality of the podcast isn't as good as it could be. I am going to get a new video camera and microphone, but I have to wait until I get a job so I can afford to buy a nice new camera. So just wish me luck. I have some interviews in the next couple of weeks, and so once that happens, I promise that the quality will dramatically improve. So just stick with me for now, and that'll be great. I'm going to go on to finished objects because I have a finished object today. Hooray! Okay, so I have a FO, which is so exciting. A faux! Hooray! So this is my Colourist Shawl, which I've been working on for the last few episodes, and I'm finished! Hooray! So this is a very cool pattern. I am again forgetting the pattern designer, and I did this 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to print it again because I am that forgetful. But the yarn is Miss Fab's Yowza in Coffee Break, and I love the colors of this, these blues, browns, and yeah, sort of different shades of browns. And I feel like this was a super fun knit because it was easy enough to remember each row, and each row, it's sort of like a 6 to 8 stitch repeat, so it was very easy to keep track of. I think the only thing that I don't like about this shawl is I don't particularly like the shape of these shawls, which seems to be in vogue lately. You basically start out with a little square and then pick up stitches around the square and knit out and down. And I can't seem to get it right without it curling slightly at the top here. So if you guys, and I couldn't really find any YouTube videos on how to do this properly, and I don't think I'm doing it properly on this shawl or on the 3-color cashmere cow. it's not that big of a deal. When I wear it on, it's like barely noticeable, but it's, you know, just slightly annoying. But I'm going to be wearing this to Rhinebeck, I believe, as my Rhinebeck shawl. I think I mentioned that last year at Rhinebeck, it was freezing, and so even though I had a worsted weight sweater made of Brooklyn tweed on, I was so cold. I could not stand it. So I'm wearing a jacket this year, and I'm going to bring this. If it becomes warm enough, then I'll probably wear a sweater without a jacket, but I'm going to be prepared this year. Last year, it was so cold that Charlie didn't have a hat with him, and I had to like knit up a hat for him really quickly. So this year we're going to be more prepared. So yeah, let me bring this closer to the camera so you can see the detail a little more. So yeah, my camera has quite a wide angle, so I have to kind of get up and come to you guys, but you can see the grays, blues, browns, so definitely within my color scheme. And I actually think that this shawl will be a good addition to the capsule collection that I've been working on, because it has the sort of blues and grays inside. So I think that'll be really nice. So yeah, so this is gonna be great. I have a navy blue coat that I'm gonna wear this with. This is gonna be like my fall little shawl, so I'm very excited about it. Okay, cool. I'm going to move on to my new work in progress. Okay, awesome. So now we're going to talk about my work in progress, and unfortunately, to start this project, I ended up frogging almost an entire sweater. So I had been working on the Puntilla pullover by Joji Locatelli, which is pretty much a basic pullover that has lace details on the hem and on the sleeves, and it's a lovely pattern. I didn't frog it because of that. It was my own fault, really. So I had swatched the yarn that I'm using for this project, and I could not get gauge for the sweater, and I kept having to go up needle sizes and up needle sizes. And it's a fingering weight yarn, and so by the time I actually got gauge, the needles were so big that the fabric was too loose, and I was like, I'm not gonna like this sweater. So I went down a needle size, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go down a needle size and I'll knit up a size. And it didn't work out. It was just like really ill-fitting. The sleeves were super big. It was just like it wasn't salvageable, unfortunately. So yeah, I had knit the whole body of the sweater except for the detailing, which I was going to make with this lovely green Madeline Tosh Merino Light. But now that doesn't exist anymore, this is a Mina Phillips thing, squish the yarn against your face. So now I'm gonna have to figure out something else to do with that. But that's okay, because I love greens and browns, and we'll figure it out. But anyway, let me show you what I'm doing instead. So this is I have a little project bag. It has doggies on it. It's really cute. It's from 3 bags full. And my boyfriend Charlie got this for me at Rhinebeck last year. I'm talking about Rhinebeck a lot today. Rhinebeck last year, and gave it to me for Christmas. So here is what I'm doing instead. I am making a featherweight cardigan by Hannah Fettig, and this is the yarn. I just got started, so hopefully you can see that a little bit, but I might come up closer. So this yarn is Dragonfly Fibers Pixie in the Winter Woods colorway, which is grays and browns. And I think that I got gauge on the first try, so I took that as a sign from the knitting gods that this is the project that I should be working on. And I think that this is going to fit very well into my capsule collection of grays and blues and turquoises. So I think this is going to be a lovely cardigan. I was sort of between 2 sizes, so I decided to go down a size because I kind of want a more tight-fitting cardigan. So I think this will be lovely. I'm going to come up a little closer to you so you can see the details. I know I just started this, and so there's not a ton to see, but you can kind of see the grays with the little specks of brown. I think it kind of looks like a birch tree, which I think is pretty neat. So it's nice because even though I've knit an entire sweater and ripped an entire sweater in this yarn, I'm not bored of it. I think it's really lovely. I love this color so much. I think it's really beautiful. So Yeah, so it's flying too. The pattern is great. It's pretty simple. Obviously, don't want to give anything away because it's a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but it's really straightforward and easy to memorize. So far, like this is only like maybe an evening worth of work. It's definitely going by very quickly because it's a very intuitive, very nice, straightforward pattern. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Highly recommend so far. I'll let you know how everything turns out. People on Ravelry in the comments are saying that the sleeves turn out a little small, so I'll see what I can do around the sleeves. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that, and maybe I'll finish this in time for Rhinebeck, so I'll have a little sweater. Who knows? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, awesome. So I'm gonna go on and talk about sewing because sewing has been just like taking over my mind lately. I've just been like dreaming of the projects that I'm gonna sew. Awesome. I will be right back. Okay, so yes, I have been very excited about my sewing. Lately I've been like, before I go to sleep at night, I've been like looking at fabric all the time. This is just like I'm so excited about getting back into sewing because I haven't done it in so long. I think I mentioned on a previous podcast that when I was in college, I used to work at the costume shop in school. I was a theater major, and so you know, you either worked in the scene shop or in the costume shop, and so yeah, I worked in the costume shop for a while making dance and theater costumes, but I haven't done it in 5 or 6 years, and so I'm super excited to get back into it. So yes, I am doing the sew along that Katie of Inside Number 23 is hosting, and she has been putting up videos of each step of the sewing of the Hollyburn skirt. And so so far I've cut out my pattern pieces, so I just have one. This is a little pocket, and I'm going to be sewing part of this today, which will be fun. So yeah, I haven't had a lot of just like uninterrupted time, and so I'm going to work on the pockets. She put up a video on sewing the pockets a couple of days ago, so I'm going to do that today. I'm going to have all the sewing time today. So yeah, I don't have any like finished objects or anything to show you guys yet, but I just have like fabric and fun stuff to talk about. So I got this book in the mail, which I'm really loving so far. It's called Love at First Stitch. It's by Tilly Wallens? Who knows? Cute British lady, very cute British lady named Tilly, and it is a wonderful book for beginner sewists. First of all, it's just adorable. Like, the whole book is just like, it just looks like a Pinterest board. It's just the cutest. But it has about 5 or 6 sewing patterns in this book that are good for beginners, and she really takes you like step by step by step every part of the sewing process. And so it's perfect for me, who is, you know, just getting back into sewing and like needs some good reminders. So yeah, I'm going to be sewing. I should have opened the page before I started filming. I am going to be sewing the Delphine skirt. It's actually on the cover of the book anyway. But anyway, so this is the Delphine skirt, and it's sort of an A-line, kind of gives me like a 60s vibe kind of a skirt. And so I went to the fabric store the other day and bought the fabric for it. So the fabric store near my apartment is called Pins and Needles on the Upper East Side. And I'd never been there before, and I went, and they were super nice and helpful. I met this woman who works there named Colleen, and she was really sweet and gave me a lot of good tips and helped me pick out fabric. So for the sewing of the skirt, you want to go with like a more heavyweight fabric, and most of the fabric that they carry is more lightweight, and so she suggested lining it, which actually worked out well because on Tilly and the Buttons, which is the blog post by the woman Tilly Wallens, she has a tutorial of how to line this exact skirt that I'm making. So I feel like if I'm gonna play with lining on anything, like having that really basic tutorial that I feel like I understand is great. So here's the fabric that I got. Yay! So this is going to be the main fabric. It's this lovely blue, with little white polka dots. You can't see those. I'm gonna come up closer to you. Hooray. So yeah, it has these little white polka dots, but they sort of like aren't really uniform, which I like. So it feels like very, it's really, I think it's super cute. And so I'm gonna make this as a little skirt. It'll be like that. Actually, it'll probably go with the shirt. And I got some like bluish gray fabric to line it with. And so I think this will be a really great exercise. I am actually planning, depending on how this skirt goes, I kind of want to sew my way through that book because I feel like the patterns in it are perfect for the capsule collection that I've been thinking about. There's some like really lovely dress patterns, skirt patterns, and this blouse that I'm just obsessed with. Let me see if I can pull up a picture for you guys. It's called the Mimi blouse, and I just feel like, yeah, I feel like it'll be perfect for, oh, yeah. I feel like this is just going to be perfect for for all the skirts that I'm making to go with that. So once I get the skills to sew in buttons, buttonholes, and also like collars, like more tricky fiddly things, then I like plan to make a few of them. I think that'll be super fun. Also, you know, I feel like with the whole capsule collection thing, part of me wants to like see where I'm going to end up working, because if I'm working in a more like corporate place, then I'll want to probably make more nice office wear kind of clothes. But if I end up working at like a startup, that culture is a lot more casual. I've worked at a few tech startups before, and it's very much like t-shirt and jean land. And so I think that like depending on where I end up working, the capsule collection will go more casual or more formal depending on that. So we'll see how that goes. But so far I'm really excited. I think that in either next episode or the one after that, I'm going to do like a little roundup of the pieces that I have in the collection so far, and then run down a list of items that I think I'm going to add, that I want to add to it in the next however long that takes. So yeah, awesome. Now I'm going to move on to the next segment. Okay, so the topic of today is perfectionism when it comes to creative pursuits. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I've been working on a lot of web projects. If you haven't tuned in before, I'm a web developer, so I basically do coding for my career, and I'm also a musical theater lyricist, so I have sort of two artistic-y careers, which is awesome. And then obviously I'm a pretty prolific knitter. So I think a lot about perfectionism, and it's funny because when it comes to lyric writing, I feel like I'm definitely a perfectionist, and I will do like 10 drafts on a song and make sure that every single word fits exactly where it should, and I'm like not happy if I don't feel 100% good about it. And then also in web development, I'm pretty perfectionist about code, about writing code, and I think part of that is because if you're making a website for a client or something, they obviously expect everything to be really perfect, and that's awesome. But for me with my knitting, I'm not a perfectionist, and I'm sort of thinking, I wonder if that's because I do this for fun, but I do those other things, like those other things are fun for me as well. But maybe it's just like because I don't like to stress so much about knitting. So I mean, if there is a glaring error, if there's something that I'm like, I dropped 5 stitches, I completely messed up this lace pattern, then I will rip back. But there's definitely a threshold to which I will fix my knitting projects. If I'm off a stitch or two, I'm just like, make one right, knit 2 together, whatever, it's fine, it's whatever. Nobody will notice, and I probably will forget about it. So maybe that's sort of my line, is like, if I will notice and it bothers me, then I'll fix it. But if I will forget about it, then I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. So yeah, I thought it was sort of like an interesting that in like my 3 creative pursuits, I'm kind of a perfectionist in 2, but with knitting, I'm not as much of a perfectionist. And I'm sort of okay with that. I definitely look up to people who can like finish their projects beautifully and like, you know, put all this time into, obviously I like block my projects, but I know people who will like really put all these like finishing touches on it and block it perfectly and do this and that, and like that's all fine and well, but I don't think that that's me. I think that I just like to have something that I'm happy with. Doesn't necessarily have to be like the most perfect thing in the world. And I was sort of wondering what you guys felt. Are you a perfectionist with your knitting? Are you a perfectionist in other parts of your life? Whether that's something creative or just in your daily life, like, you know, when it comes to scheduling or I don't know, anything in your work, in your school. Do you find yourself being more of a perfectionist in some things than other things, and why do you think that is? I'm just sort of interested to see what everybody has to think, because even though I sort of think I am a perfectionist by nature, with knitting, I'm like pretty easy breezy about it. It's just like, whatever happens, happens. It's all good. So yeah, let me know what you think. It was really fun last week to hear about if people are openers or finishers. It seems like in our little group we had more openers than finishers, which I thought was really interesting. So, you know, people who like to cast on projects. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think about perfectionism. Okay, so this is the life update section. So last couple of weeks have been pretty good. The job hunt is going well. I have a few interviews next week, which is great. Trying to get some last minute relaxing in before the summer is over. So yesterday, Charlie and Dottie and I went to New Jersey, and we had a day hanging out by the pool, which was great because it was oppressively hot, and it's hard in the city to like get to a beach or get to any kind of water that would be refreshing. So it was really nice that we got to spend the day. Also, Charlie got to like cook and grill, which he loves to do. My dad has a great garden that has tomatoes and peppers, and so we kind of did a lot of cooking, and well, Charlie did a lot of cooking. I'm very lucky because I don't like to cook, but Charlie loves to cook, and so he can do all of that, and I can enjoy the benefits of eating it. It's okay, guys. I do the dishes. It's fine. We have a good trade-off. We have a whole system. So, yeah, so that was really fun, and then we got back to the city late last night. Dottie is exhausted today. A few days ago, it was sad because she got groomed, and I don't know if the groomer just wasn't careful when she was around her face, but if you guys have seen pictures and videos of Dottie, she has enormous eyes. And I think that the groomer either got too close to her eyes with the scissors, or some shampoo or some chemical fell in her eye, but she has a cornea on one of her retinas, and so on her left eye. So she has to like have some medicine and wear a cone on her head so she won't scratch at it. And so between that and like all the excitement of being in New Jersey and like having a backyard to run around and play in, she's exhausted today. Usually when I bring her inside after her morning walk, she like is awake. Today she just went right back to sleep. She's so tired. So hopefully she'll like wake up and be okay, and we'll eat breakfast eventually. So, but yeah, so everyone is doing good, and like I said, in a couple weeks we're going to Montreal. So my sister's husband's sister, my brother-in-law's sister, is getting married in Maine, and then after the wedding, Charlie and I are going to go up to Montreal. So that will be super fun, and yeah, so vlog's probably going to be a little late, like I said, but hopefully it will be a really good trip, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful next couple of weeks. If you're doing the Ravelenics, I hope that that's going well. I sort of missed the boat on that because I was going to knit those Christmas stockings that I was talking about during the Ravelenics, but Guys, I gave up on the Christmas stockings. I decided I don't want to knit Christmas. A, I don't want to knit Christmas stockings because it's like very annoying. B, when I do knit Christmas stockings that I have before, I find that because of the color work nature of them, the floats in the back get sort of caught on the gifts inside, but then if I line the stockings, it's not big enough. So I just texted my sister and I was like, dude, I will sew you some stockings. How about that, right? Right? So I'm gonna buy some Christmas fabric and sew some stockings, and I will show you guys that because I don't know, I just thought about knitting Christmas stockings and I was like, ugh. I'm thinking a lot more about knitting for myself versus other people, and not necessarily stockings, because I know my sister would be a really good recipient, but like last year for Christmas, I knit something for everybody, and it was just too much. I think I just want to focus on knitting for myself and knitting garments. I think those are the things that I really want to focus on because that's what I'm going to get the most wear out of, and I know that like I'm going to really appreciate it. So if that sounds selfish, I don't care. You know, honestly, when I look back on my ravelry projects, like 50% of everything I've knit has been for other people, and so yeah, I'm just gonna knit for myself. So yay, selfish knitting, woo! I think everybody should knit for themselves. I think, you know, I think you should do that. Treat yourself. Okay, cool. So I went off on a little tangent there. So anyway, have a wonderful next couple of weeks. Get some good knitting and sewing in. Hopefully in the next episode we'll have the new logo up, which will be pretty awesome. Yeah, have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and see you soon. Bye.